Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday afternoon live stream with Mary Jo. I'm Mary Jo Coulehan, the Executive Director of the Pagosa Springs Chamber of Commerce. The word today is flexible. This morning we were using the word free, but we've changed now to flexible because in our backyard, of course, is our Plum Top Fire. And so our Chamber of Commerce would like to keep our community current and updated. So we have kicked poor Darren Lewis, the Director of Parks and Recreation, to the curb, and he was supposed to be here to talk about ComFest, which is happening on Friday, which is a free concert in Town Park on Friday, and 5:30 to 8:30, and that is still happening. So please don't let your life go on hold. Join us on Friday for the first in a series of 4 free music festivals in Town Park this coming Friday. Also, tomorrow, to all our newcomers here to Pagosa Springs, and we use that term very loosely, probably the last 18 months or so because of COVID, we haven't been out to meet and greet you and welcome. We are having here at the Visitor Center a newcomer meet and greet. Now, our weather, the winds look like they're supposed to pick up tomorrow, so we will probably have it indoors here at the Visitor Center, and that is located at 105 Hot Springs Boulevard. So please join us tomorrow. We're going to have a number of our welcome service businesses in attendance. We want to thank our co-sponsors, the Humane Society of Pagosa Springs. And so with that in mind, we also want to let our newcomers know that a number of our nonprofit organizations will also be on hand. And we want to hear from you. What are you looking for? What's your passion? What do you want to engage in? What kind of questions can we answer for you? What kind of businesses are you and services are you still looking for? So please join us tomorrow from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. We will have hors d'oeuvres and beverages, and we'd love to see you. And so while you have your calendars out, let's also mark next Wednesday, May 25th, for our business after hours. That will be hosted by Jerry Jackson, who is an independent realtor here in Pagosa Springs at his beautiful location along the river, right over on Hot Spring, just off of Hot Springs Boulevard, where it turns into Light Plant Road. So it'll be on the right-hand side, just past the Apache Street turnoff. And that, again, will be from 5 to 7. We'll be on board next week to talk more about that event. But really what I want to focus on the show today is what is being done. I know a number of agency phones have been ringing off the hook. People are inquiring. They want to know containment. They want to know what's happening. And we are so grateful that both Sheriff Rich Valdez and Undersheriff Mike LaRue have joined us today in our studio to talk about the fire here, the Plum Top Fire, over near Pagosa Peak and Plumtaw Road. Do we have them joining us with us? There we go. And we also, I'm happy to say that we have Brandy Richardson with us, also with the Forest Service. It's been a while, Brandy, and I hate to say that we see you mostly when we have a fire, so that's not a good thing. But we are so grateful that all 3 of you were able to join us today. Because I know your offices are just extremely busy. I think I'm going to start with Sheriff Valdez and Undersheriff LaRue. If you could just tell us a little bit about where we are and what we should be doing right now as a community.
Good afternoon, Mary Jo.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us on your show. So just before I get started, and I'll let the sheriff talk about it, I want to preface, we don't want to comment on fire. We'll pass that over to Brandy. She's a lot more qualified to talk about that, but I'll let the sheriff maybe talk about where we are as a community and what we're looking at.
Yeah, just as a community, I mean, everybody's obviously concerned because of the circumstances in which this happened. I mean, it's a fire that blew up extremely fast and a lot faster than what we kind of anticipated. And it put a lot of a strain on our dispatch center because everybody was calling in. So we had to really kind of hustle to get that information and the nixle out so that we didn't use up those resources so much on our dispatch side. And then, it is a little bit of a challenge. We're coming into a holiday weekend. We got a lot of travelers that are anticipating coming up here. And we're just really encouraging people to kind of stay away for right now. I mean, we do have the roads blocked off in that area, and we're asking them to kind of stay back for their safety and try not to get in there in the woods. And then just also brings another note, we did work with the county commissioners who put a fire ban into place to stage 1 fire this morning. So we really want to get the message out there that we are dry. And, if you are up here visiting and you're out and about, even if it's at your residence, we just encourage you to please be safe and be smart. We do have some weather coming in tomorrow, which is going to be a big concern. And like we said, we'll let Brandy and them talk about the possibilities of what that could entail with the fire. But for us, it also is just, a lot of people don't recognize that the sheriff's real responsibility is, I am the fire marshal for the county, and I'm responsible for all wildland fires in the unincorporated area of Archuleta County. And right now we've got a lot of our resources are assisting the federal fire, with the Forest Service. And we want to focus that right now, all of our resources on that. And we don't want to have to be pulling resources all over the county because of negligence. So that's kind of the impact that we're seeing we foresee happening. But we just want everybody to be safe and enjoy this weekend as well. And while we deal with this big issue, that's
Sure.
Everybody can see.
Sure, literally in our backyard. Mike, before we move on to Brandy, do you have anything you want to add? Also, being formally head of our emergency operations, so anything you'd like to add right now?
Well, so to touch on what the sheriff mentioned earlier, obviously our dispatch center took the brunt of the early calls. We set up a call center as quick as we could in response to that to try and take a load off that. That number has been published. The information that the Forest Service is putting out is going to those call takers. So they're arming people with the most up-to-date information that is being pushed out through the public information channels. To reiterate, the only evacuation that has occurred was that at the Lost Valley of the San Juans. We put them in pre-evacuation early on, and that moved to a mandatory evac. We managed to get everybody out, and there was some livestock horses that we got out of there. They were able to get trailered out. So there was nobody left up at that residential subdivision, which is primarily in Mineral County, although we do have residences in Archuleta County just over there. So we've got a vested interest as well. So other than that, there are no evacuation orders nor pre-evacuation orders at this stage. We do have trigger points. So subject to whatever the Forest Service decides, we will put certain areas into pre-evac notice at that stage. We were able to evacuate the 4 Mile Falls trailhead. We had vehicles and people recreating on the trail, hiking. We managed to get everybody out safely. So to the best of our knowledge, there is nobody in that area, certainly not from this side. The last thing I want to touch on is that on the Archuleta County web page, the main archuletacounty.org, under residents and citizens alerts is our Nixle Everbridge platform, which is the citizens alert platform. I encourage everybody to go on there and register, as that's a platform that we use to disperse information on pre-evac orders, road closures, that kind of thing. So it's a free service. We don't inundate you with messages, but it definitely is a mechanism for people to receive real-time information as it comes out.
Great. I got mine yesterday, so
good.
I'm good. Thank you, gentlemen. If you'll hang for a little bit, we may have a few questions. Welcome, Brandy, again. Welcome, and thank you. I know you're so incredibly busy, so thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I know everybody's waiting with bated breath on the latest information. I also want to remind people that the Chamber of Commerce has on our website, pagosachamber.com, we do have the different websites and codes. You can scan it. You can go to the link of the updated fire information. But Brandy, please, thank you again, and update us as you see fit.
Sure. So good afternoon. I'm Brandy Richardson. I'm one of the acting public information officers on the Plum Top Fire. And as some of you may know, we all have different jobs outside of this. So we're kind of gathering, and today's kind of an initial day where we're getting our ducks in a row and working through technology kinks. So we appreciate your patience. And as we move forward, information will be more readily available. We just sent out the news release. So for those of you that aren't aware, haven't read the past news releases, the fire is about 7 miles northwest of Pagosa Springs. It started yesterday about 1 p.m. and rapidly grew several hundred acres. And we ran an infrared satellite imagery mapping to this morning at 10 a.m. and it's showing a 613 acres. So as you know, that's not much different than the initial estimate of 600 from last night. And that's just because a lot of times the mapping kind of can really get more pointed to where that fire is on the ground. We're at 0% containment. Some of the values at risk are Lost Valley of the San Juan subdivision. And this morning the fire was active, but we have dozers, crews, engines, several heavy air tankers and Type 1 heavy lift helicopters. And so moving into the operational period today, the goal is to stall and delay progression to the north to Lost Valley of the San Juans, which at its closest point earlier today was about a mile. We plan to continue using the 645 road to contain the fire, which is, it is Plumtaw Road on the east side of the fire. And then on the south side of the fire, the goal is to keep the fire south of Plumtaw. So the Rogue River hotshots are lighting off the road on the south end of the fire where it's appropriate to do so, and going direct where it's appropriate to do so. Looking out further, winds are looking to increase from the west. So tomorrow we're kind of prepping for a significant wind event like Rich said. And, priority for today is just values, protection of those values on the north end, and in kind of getting prepared in anticipation for the wind event tomorrow.
Sure.
We do have a complex incident management team coming in. They're going to probably start coming in this evening, and we'll be transitioning over. The district folks that are helping out and forest personnel will be kind of helping them get lined out for coming on in. And I'm sure there's lots of questions, and if there's anything I missed, I'm happy to answer anything.
Sure. Some of the questions, and I'll just throw this out to all three of our guests today. We have had, since the fire, we're up in the Weminuche, and it straddles our different counties. Do we have an incident command like we did with West Fork here in Archuleta County as well as Mineral County? Where are we really basing out of?
Yeah,
So,
we can answer that.
yeah.
So yes, we're working with Mineral County, and because of the proximity to private property as well, we're working with the.
Oh, I think we lost you. We got you stuck. We may have to, guys, if you can hear me, you may have to log out and come back in again. So why don't we try that? And Brandy, I'm going to move back to you just for a minute. So again, one of the things that I really try and focus on is correct information. And I just want to tell you, from my involvement with the West Fork fire years ago, the engagement and the information that came out of the Forest Service and all the different branches that were working on that was phenomenal. My kudos go to you all. It really is amazing. And so now we have a couple of different websites. Obviously, there's air quality. There is the incident website, InciWeb, and we have those on our. What do you recommend for people? Because obviously people are calling, and we're trying to defer, people calling the Forest Service and actually, trying
Yeah,
to
we
inundate your
appreciate
phone
that
lines.
so much. Yeah, and I totally understand what you're saying, Mary Jo. I would start with NCWeb. Today we're probably going to be setting up a Facebook page. We also have our Forest Web Facebook page where we're posting the news release. If people want it emailed, they can email us in the contact for the news release. We have multiple platforms for getting the information out, and we try to update those. It just takes a little bit of time since there's only a couple of us doing it. So the news release went out. I would say NCWeb is a great all around. We try to update that first. Facebook is a close second, and once we kind of get in the hang of things and start rolling, it will be more consistently out at the same time. But NCWeb's always a good first run at it.
Okay. The other thing is, obviously it's in our backyard. And so people are interested and they want to maybe see it or get close. I live on 4 miles, so I don't have to go far, but people should just stay away. And right now the road is closed. Is it up at Pagosa Peak Ranch? And
so we've got personnel staged at the forest boundary, and we are going to be working around some messaging of trying to encourage people to respect the closures and also really don't be on that road unless you absolutely need to be. It's a safety issue for personnel traveling up and down the road. And so we'll definitely be working on some of that messaging around that. But the more people hear it, the better. So we appreciate pointing that out. And we do have people on both ends. So on Plumtaw and on 4 Mile, kind of helping remind people that area is closed.
So if you're coming from Piedra, and again, people are looking at that back end of the fire from Piedra and Hatcher and whatnot, and going up County Road and the Forest County Road 600 and then into the Forest Service, that is closed from where on that road at the transition as well, or past Pagosa Springs?
I'm going to read it to you so I make sure it's the right thing because it's been a long day. So it's closed. So 4 Mile County Road 400 that turns into Forest Service Road 645 at the forest boundary, and then on Plumtaw Road from the junction of McManus Road.
Okay, McManus.
And that's Forest Service Road 633. So McManus to Plumtaw to 4 Mile.
So Williams is still open if people choose
correct.
to go up to Williams. Okay,
correct.
That'll be great. Brandy, anything else that you want to mention at this point in time? Certainly we are getting, and I'm here's our gentleman back. So maybe this is a question for Incident Command. We are also getting requests for, can I volunteer? Can I help? What can I do? What can we tell our public?
I would say if you have a request, you can email it to or a desire to help. We have limited capacity for taking volunteers, but I do know people want to show support. The Wildland Fire Foundation is a great place to donate money and or donate or check out. We're kind of still getting our head around how we can have people help, but if they want to email us and let us know that they're willing to donate time or funds, we can address that later. It's just right now we're kind of getting the basics done.
Okay, perfect.
So, yes.
Mike or Rich, welcome back. Anything that you can mention as far as people looking at donations or time or goods? Anything you want to mention right now, or we're still in the preliminary stages, and so kind of hold off for a minute? What would you suggest?
Yeah, I was going to say route them to the call center where we can log and track that information, and the call center will get hold of us and we can see what we need. At this stage, there's so many resources on scene and things happening. It's moving pretty quickly that we don't know what we don't need at this point. So as time unfolds, we'll start getting a better feel for it. But I suggest pointing them in the direction of the call center, and they can track that information and they report to us at a point in time. There's a lot of goodwill out there, but for sure, there's a lot of stuff that we don't need, and we don't want to be inundated with that as we don't have any place to.
You bet. You bet. So anything else that you can share with us or you would like to let our audience know? Brandy, Mike, Rich?
I just want to reiterate that, the evacuation component, we obviously take very seriously. For sure, there is a lot of smoke in the air and there's a lot of resources. We understand that people are concerned about it, and we will absolutely notify where we can. So please keep following the Archuleta County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, Pagosa Fire Protection's Facebook page, as well as the San Juan National Forest Facebook. We'll get that information out. But again, to reiterate, at this time, there are no evacuation orders in place. Evacuation has occurred, that was successful. And for now, we're just moving forward with dealing with the incident at hand.
Okay. Brandy, any last words from the Forest Service?
No, I don't, other than just being thankful for the public for their patience and know that we're trying our best to get information out in a timely manner. And thanks for your time, Mary Jo, and inviting us on. We appreciate it.
You're so very welcome. And, again, we're so proud to work with you all. The work that you do, everybody is just behind you and our firefighters. So we are just so grateful for everybody. You're out there and season has kicked in, and unfortunately it hit us hard and fast. So everybody be safe out there, and just know you can also go to the Chamber's website. Did I see a hand about that? Maybe that was a goodbye from Rich, but no, you can go to the Chamber's website, pagosachamber.com. On our homepage are many of the links that we've been talking about. And if you have any questions, you can also call us here at the Chamber, 970-264-2360. And we're here, and we can certainly communicate with our other commanders and our officials that are handling this incident here in our community. Let's also try and keep going on with our lives. And thank you to all the firefighters and the crews that are coming in. It is a very, very fast moving project. And so let's kind of right now hold back, stay out of the way, let them do their jobs, and then let's rally and support those that are supporting us here in our communities. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to call us here at the Chamber, 970-264-2360. Thank you again to our guests. We'll see you very soon. I do want to remind everybody, at this time, we do not have a live stream. Next Wednesday, I'm actually going to be at the high school interviewing high school freshmen. So for jobs, so we can prepare them for jobs. So yes, we are continuing with our lives here, and school's almost out. So let's get them before they hit the streets here. So I will be at the high school next week interviewing freshmen. So thank you all so much, and stay tuned. We may be back with more live stream off our usual schedule just to keep you informed. So stay tuned to our Facebook page, and we look forward to seeing you. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Bye-bye, and be safe.